There we go. We
Okay.
good?
Yeah. I was wondering if you could go through another song.
No.
All right.
That was the end of that one. And it started into like a weird. What's up, guys? Frag Logic episode 23. Here with my buddy and co host, Skyless. Colin, what's up, dude?
And Divekick, champion of the world!
So, yeah.
How do you feel right now? I mean, I've been waiting for this moment to be able to share to our viewership the trouncing that Kale took in Divekick, as he is now part of the FGC, supposedly. Just got obliterated.
So, was anyone following our match on Twitter? I don't know how many of you guys follow us on Twitter. We basically updated it. We played all 3 days, right?
Yeah.
So
1 and 1, and then 3 the last day,
then three,
or 1 and 2, 1, 2, 2.
2, yeah. No.
So you had time to think about your mistakes.
It was 1, 1, 2.
You had time to think about your mistakes. It just didn't matter.
So
Trounce. And we went dive and kick every single game, so there was no character advantage. There was no matchup experience. There was no none of that. It was just straight up. Better man won. The better man won. I thought all this practice, all this lab time you've been putting in. You have a series called In the Lab or Sparring Lab. Sparring Lab. You've been just labbing it up. All that completely useless. All that completely for naught.
Dude, it's 2 buttons, dude.
Yeah, you should be even better. Should be even better. And you
All
have
right.
your own pad.
Alright, I got 2.
You have 2 pads. There's many pads and that one had buttons.
I have nothing to say. I got beat fair and square.
Badly.
No, you did not. You did not beat me badly.
Gotta be badly.
This is what happened, guys. Day 1, we play. Now, I will admit, I had more matches under my belt than Colin. I had about 4
Yeah, you
more
went
matches.
into it with 6 games. I only played once.
I think it was 4. 4 or
You said
5.
you said 3 and 3.
Did I say 3? Oh, yeah,
You
I
said
was
3 and
3.
3.
Okay. I thought it was 2 and 2. Okay, yeah. So, I played 6 matches before I played Colin. The first match I played, I got obliterated. Second match I played, I did a little bit better. By match 3, I was like, okay, I get the hang of it. But I was picking like a bunch of different characters. So when Colin and I played, we were like, okay, let's pick the vanilla characters. And then the 2 basic characters I think they started the game with. Is that correct?
Yeah.
I think that's the 2 characters they built the game around was Dive and Kick. So if you guys haven't heard of this game, Colin, if you could pull up a link and then put it in there
Sure.
for them, that'd be awesome. But basically, this game only allows you to do 3 actions, but only 2 really movements are key to the game. It allows you to jump, and it allows you to kick forward. And you can also jump backwards. So that's essentially the basis of the game. So there's 2 buttons on the controller. If you're in the fighting game community, I'm sure you've heard of this game already. Probably seen it at some of the streams. It's kind of popular. Among them, kind of like an underground thing. They got people from the fighting game community actually in the game, which is pretty cool. But the very first game that Colin and I played, I was up 4-3. All right, he comes back and kicks me, I don't know, headshots, whatever, the next 2, and he wins 4-5. So I'm like, okay, that was a good match. I can settle for that. Next day we play. This is just like MLG. We played a match, cooled off, got to think about what we were doing. I had some time to think about it. Same thing happens. I'm up 4-3.
You didn't learn from your mistakes.
Up 4-3. And this dude wins the match. I think you got your... No, that happened in the last match. Alright, so he obliterates me. And in terms of my confidence, I'm like, okay, I got this. And he just comes back and wins. So he had the clutch factor both days, right?
You're just too easy to read. That's the thing. Like, I was able to recognize your patterns and then take advantage of it.
Okay. We're hearing the play-by-play after game. Okay.
Yep.
That's what happened. Day 3, Sunday, last day. Colin was using Dive. So we made everything opposite. All right. So He used dive. He went black and orange on his outfit. I used kick. I went orange and black on my outfit. So day 3, and I think end of day 1, we had Dave Lang, who is the CEO of Iron Galaxy Studio. That's correct?
Yeah.
Okay, so the CEO and developer for Divekick sends us a tweet. He's like, he saw that we were tweeting
back
about
and forth. Yeah.
Yeah, he saw the back and forth, tweeted about it. What's up, Golden Boy? And was like, I got money on Arctic, $10 on Arctic that he's gonna win, right? So we had this match, and he was like, why didn't you guys get me afterward? After this, we had this match. Colin wins this day 2. Colin wins 4-5. I tweet out again that I lose, and he's like, what? No way. He's like, I smell collusion.
Well, I asked him. I was like, "So, how do you want to make this out? Do you want to give it to the charity of my choice?" You know, I was joking, obviously. So, yeah, he ends up actually paying the $10 up.
He actually paid us the $10. So Sunday, I was getting to day 3. Sunday, we go up to him. I'm like, "Hey, what's up, Dave? This is my buddy, Colin." And the first thing he does is pulls out his wallet. He doesn't even say hi. He pulls out his wallet, starts laughing a little bit, like, yeah. Hands Colin $10 because he won the match. So I felt like,
he said he always bets on the black guy fighting games.
Yeah, right. Exactly. That's exactly what he said. So, of course, I feel like trash because he's like handing him his money over to Colin right in front of my face, and I just wanted to introduce Colin. So I was like, man, I feel like a scumbag. So, I'm working the loadout booth. Colin comes over, I think, midday. It was before your first match.
Yeah.
And I go off 5-1.
It was 5-2, I think.
5-2 doesn't matter. 5-1, 5-2. It's all the same. I go off. I'm pumped. I'm like, I got it down.
I was just off my game. I was thinking about Halo.
Yeah, right.
I was getting prepared for my match.
Right. So I tear him up. So I'm like, yeah, that's right. Those were flukes. So I go back over to Loadout, and I won, and it was dramatic, right? I'm like, woo! I'm like, everyone around the booth is like looking at me like, who is this obnoxious dude? So I think that's probably what got me. If I would have just walked away nice and calm and, collected, then it wouldn't have, it was the karma.
Yeah, you think the karma came back and got you?
Yeah, that's what I think it was. So Colin finishes up on Halo. He's kind of bummed about Halo a little bit because he finished 5th. We're going to get to that in a second.
I did all right. We'll get to it.
He's a little bummed, so I think he wanted vengeance. So that's why there was karma. Like, he wanted to hurt somebody. So he comes back, game 4. Like, I'm trying to tie the series up 2-2. I go up 2-0. You remember that? I go up in this match 2-0. I'm still on fire from game 3.
And then lose 5 straight.
And then I lose 5 straight.
5 straight, all really fast and, like, super quick and decisive. I think I got back-to-back headshots, and then I had super and killed you back-to-back with super.
Once you had super,
or
though,
kick meter or whatever the hell it is.
Yeah, once you had full kick meter, they send you in like a hyper mode, rage mode, or whatever, and you can jump higher. I mean, you might be able to kick faster.
Yeah, you come down faster too, and you go across, basically all the way across the screen.
Right. So I just couldn't deal with it. It was too much, and he ended up coming out on top, 3-1, and put me to shame. But
all that fighting game practice?
For all you guys that were in the stream when we talked about fighting games, was it a couple months ago? This was the game. I got Colin to play. So I feel like, even though I was a loser in this
I was
match,
interested before, though.
I came out a winner because we played a fighting game.
And I'm still not interested in any other game. because I don't want to learn combos. And it's only coming out for, I think, PlayStation and PC. So the odds of me actually playing are very low.
So either way,
I'll happily play whenever it's at an event, though.
I'm very happy about the game. Dave Lang, we met Adam Keats. There were some other guys that were around there, kind of, talking about how to play. I don't know if they were devs or just helping out from the community. I'm assuming they were devs. But that team is really awesome. They were right across from us at the Loadout booth. Sweet dudes. David Lang is actually going to be on our show. Or maybe Adam will be on the show. Maybe we can get both. I don't know what week we want to plan that out, but I'm going to be in touch with him. We talked to Colin actually talked to him a little bit, and he was like, yeah, I'll be on the show. So I'm pretty pumped up about that. He's going to talk about the game. some more. And like I said, we are very interested in getting a lot of developers on the show and just talking games, because I don't think anyone does it in a fashion that is good. So that's one of our goals. So I'm really pumped to have him on and to kind of talk about it. And then for those of you guys, again, that don't know about Divekick, it really started off as like, I don't want to say like a joke, but it kind of just like a little fun activity, I think.
I was looking at it. I think actually, like the Wikipedia says, it was originally a joke.
Yeah, and it, it was supposed to be fun, and then they were like, oh, this kind of has some appeal to it. So, it's one of those indie games that kind of sprouted up from, and Colin, this is something I want to talk about in the show. It's one of the things that we kind of talked about for Halo with Quinn. But it's a player in the community, or players from that actual community, that were like, hey, let's get into gaming and let's do design and let's actually make a game. And they have the support from the fighting game community for that game, so it's pretty damn cool.
Yeah, I'm pretty big on pro gamers. I wouldn't say any kind of competitive gamer even getting involved in areas that are related, you know what I mean, without being completely like, I mean, you practice for how many years playing competitively, and you play 5-6 hours a night, and that's like time that you might be spending learning something else that might be more useful. So it's nice when people can turn that gaming time into something which applies to them, be it commentary, video content, video production, YouTube stuff, or game development. I always like seeing that.
Alright. Next up, we got Loadout. I work for the dev team Edge of Reality at the Loadout booth, and it's always cool because I get to meet both fans of the game and fans of like my YouTube channel, or fans of what Colin and I do, Frag Logic, or just our team Amazing. So every event that I go to, I'm always pumped to meet people from just the gaming community in general. And RTX was a really good, it's always a good event for us because we're Austin based. So all the people that we meet there are mostly local, but we were a couple stories. We had our first cosplayer. I think I posted some of the pictures on my Twitter account. Colin, I think you saw him around. He dressed as our default character, Axel. So he had the red bandana. He had a gray beater on. He even had the commando knife on his back. His name is Harrison. He goes by Evil Pineapple. So shout out to him. That was just awesome to meet him and do all that stuff. He helped run the booth. He was talking to people. He was on the mic. Just doing all types of phenomenal stuff. So that was probably hands down the highlight of the event for me personally, was meeting someone so interested in the game and so wanting to help out that he went to the length to be like, I'm going to make this about Loadout while I'm here. This other stuff is cool, but I'm all about this game. And so that was really like eye-opening to me, as like the level of interest that he had. And I think, we kind of had that with Gears in the past and Epic and some other gaming studios out there, but talking to him, he was into gaming. I think he's actually an artist, if I'm not mistaken, or UI, something like that, something along those lines. So seeing that he's going to the events, playing the games, and that he's actually in it and trying to do stuff is really cool, because he's just in the right direction. So that was probably the highlight of my event, is just having someone like that there. But we did dev challenges. We're still undefeated. I don't know if we'll do some more. We had some really close ones, but we still slapped everyone down. I did a 3 versus 1, which was right here against Team Ian, where he randomly found, he asked 3 different people. This is just like, hey, what's your name? Guy's like, Ian. He was like, oh, that's kind of random. And just walked through the line and asked someone else what their name was, and the guy said Ian, and he's like, okay, we got to do something because we got 3 Ians. So they had a 3 versus 1 against me, and of course I'm thinking, okay, I'm gonna play the numbers game. Why don't we do basically kill confirmed, so they could only get 1 vial, and I ended up winning. But it was fun event for me running that. Being on the mic, talking with people, I always enjoy that. Just hearing people's first impression of our game and just talking with different gamers, that's always cool. But yeah, that was my Loadout experience. I'm gonna let Colin handle Halo 4 before we talk about some of the other stuff with Halo. But he competed.
Yeah, I mean, I guess before I get into that, going on more work-related stuff, we actually, certain Affinity Studio work, I got to announce our DLC for Halo. And it was pretty cool. I got to go to they did it upstairs in the ballroom, so it was like they did a panel as well. It was pretty cool because they showed the trailer, and then the trailer has like these different shots of the pit. So it was like shot, shot, shot. And then like it got to the fourth one where they're pretty fast, and they got to the fourth one, it was like, "Fuck yeah, pit!" Like it's just the highlight for me is hear that guy yell out. So that's pretty cool. And got to show off the new mode Ricochet, which I think is probably some of the most fun I've had playing Halo 4. So I'm excited. People got to see that for the first time. And other than that, the Halo 4 competition. So it was being run by Virgin Gaming, for those who don't know. They did open sign-ups at the door. They ended up having 690 competitors, I think, roughly.
That's a nice turnout.
Yeah, I was actually kind of surprised. I thought it would actually be higher because they were giving out T-shirts. I'm not sure if they had advertised that fact very well. I imagine they would have run out of entries very quickly if they had made it public they were giving out T-shirts, because people are crazy about any kind of thing at conventions.
It's ridiculous, yeah.
So they had 690. They did it kind of weird though. Like they grouped the people up into days. So there was a Friday bracket, a Saturday bracket, and a Sunday bracket. And even though I registered on Friday, I ended up playing on Saturday. So I was part of the Saturday bracket. And I don't know what happened from there to the final 64, but the brackets weren't even. So I played 4 matches to get top 64. Another guy I work with played 2 matches on Sunday to get top 64. And I think on Friday they played 3 matches in order to get top 64. But it was also like all the people that were really early in line, so all the pros ended up in the Friday bracket. So I had some beefs with the way they did the brackets in general. Also, they just kept advancing your group, so my pool had 8 people or whatever, top 4 advance. Those 4 people were in the same pool the next round, and over and over and over. So I actually played with one of the guys that qualified, Toxic Nate, I think 4 times on Saturday, just because he was in my group at the beginning, and then we just stuck together the entire way because we kept winning. So that was kind of shitty. But the good thing is everything was on time. I think simplifying the bracket structure let them do that. They ended up having pretty much everything starting right at the time. And if you weren't there, tough shit, you know?
Were there a lot of people that didn't show? Could you tell?
I didn't have a full bracket match until, I think, my final qualifier.
Okay.
So they were all like 6 to 7 people, so it wasn't like there was tons of no-shows.
Right.
Which is surprising because in my case, like I registered on Friday and then I got a pass saying 1 o'clock on Saturday, you know?
Right.
So people actually came back and did their qualifying matches, so that was pretty cool. And that was pretty much it. They did top 4 advance. I ended up placing, I guess technically top 40 would be because I got 5th in my group stage in round of 64. Didn't play that well. I haven't played Halo in like 5 or 6 months, really, outside of work. So I was kind of disappointed, but it wasn't too bad. And it was nice to see people that I played against in the finals. Like 2 or 3 people, or 3 people that were my groups qualified to go to PAX, which is where they're holding the grand finals, where there's actual prizes. I think at this one, all you got was a games case if you were top 6.
Really?
You got top 6 and the trip to PAX for the qualify or for the actual tournament.
Okay. Someone says excuses. Well, we heard some excuses.
What do you mean excuses? I said I played awfully. How is that?
Yeah, he did. We heard some excuses.
My very first Twitter post was I played awfully. I'm not gonna point fingers. Yeah.
We're not gonna point any fingers, but trust me, we heard some excuses from some players.
Well, I can say this: there were some pro players in attendance, and most of them qualified.
Yeah.
Along with a few surprises, I think. It was pretty cool. They did 1v1 for the finals. So there's 4. So they did groups, so you end up having 8 people in the end. So the top 6 qualified, and then they played, or top 4 qualified, and then the bottom 4 did 1v1s to see who would get in. And 1v1 in Halo isn't very good. No. I'm sorry. Especially when you make that like your big stage moment is a 1v1 in Halo. It's not very good at all.
I told you the funny story, and Golden Boys, he might still be in here, but funny story. You know, Golden Boy was commentating the event. I talked with him and some other people from there. Ghost Ayame, Joe Fries, Bravo, obviously Quinn, and you know, I'm talking with someone that walked into the loadout line. And it was just he might be in that picture that I had at the beginning, but he was talking to us. He was so pumped. He was like, "Yeah, I beat a Halo Pro in a 1v1. I beat him." I was like, "Yes!" I was so pumped. I beat Golden Boy, and I was like, I didn't say anything. I was just like,
Oh, that's good. Nice job.
yeah, nice job, dude. Nice job. And I was like, wait, did he really say Golden Boy? Is what I was thinking. I was like,
he says, "Hey, in chat."
It's like they made me play. I was like, wait, Golden Boy he was a commentator, not a pro. I was like, okay, kid. I was like, yeah, man. I kept it going. So I was like, yeah, man, good job. That's nice, dude.
That's
nice
impressive.
job. Yeah, he was like, yeah, I know. It's like, I didn't think I would be able to do it, but I won. I was just, and he had the biggest grin on his face, and I didn't want to ruin it for him. So I was like, there's nothing I could say.
He just made his day though.
He said I beat everyone except for that one dude, and I happened to be the guy that walked over to us. Oh god, that was so funny. Oh man.
Oh man.
That was the crack up. That was the highlight in terms of laughs probably of that event was this dude coming up like, "I'll beat Golden Boy 1v1 in Halo," and I'm like, Halo, and he said Halo Pro, and I was just like, yeah, okay, all right, nice job, man. And the other guy that was over there, he actually told it to me and the guy I said was doing the cosplay for Loadout. And you know, he has no idea of who is, and he's like, he's really into like, fucking awesome, dude. Nice job, way to go. Now you need to play some Loadout. Now you need to beat the pros over here. I was like, I was cracking up. It was funny.
Oh man. So yeah, they did 1v1 for the finals, and it was pretty shitty. 4 people that probably never played 1v1 Halo ever. I think that's safe to say. Shit like grabbing overshield and then fighting the dude with overshield, like
It's very clear that like people just
it
don't know how
was
do
hard to
it
watch.
on Halo, yeah.
It's hard to watch. There were a couple cool tricks. I saw someone wait to grab the overshield till after a grenade went off next to him. So a little bit of strategery there, but for the most part, it was just really crappy. It's no Quake is what I tweeted.
Yeah.
And I'll stand by that.
I definitely don't see it playing out very well, and I could only imagine. I would have loved to watch so I could laugh at how bad it probably looked, but 1v1 Halo does not sound fun.
Doubly so because they couldn't do commentary in the on the stage.
On the stage, right?
Because they would have given away positions and stuff.
Yeah.
So it was completely silent, and like there's probably like 70 or 80 people sitting there in the chairs watching the really slow and boring 1v1 and just applauding every now and then. So that was that. 6 people qualified, and then they're doing online qualifiers for the rest, with the exception of Gamescom in Germany. They're going to do the same thing. 6 people advance from there, and there's I think 5 online rounds with 4 people qualifying each round. The format's a little bit complex, but essentially you need to win 20 games straight in the matchmaking playlists in order to qualify each week.
Have you decided whether or not you're going to play? Are you gonna try?
There's some complications. I'm probably not going to. I might just play, just see where I end up.
Did you talk with some people at the studio about it?
No, I don't want to spend the time playing and then to find out that I can't actually go.
Right. Okay.
You know, like it's really difficult to win.
So
to
yeah,
qualify to those conditions anyways.
For those of you
the
unaware,
online competition's going to be stiff.
Yeah, for those of you unaware, I want to reiterate this. Colin actually works for Certain Affinity, who works on Halo. So some of the rumblings that we kind of heard were, at least from the 343 guys, was like, is he going to be eligible if he makes it? Because and I was saying this, I was like, Golden Boy, I was like, Colin's name is in the credits, right? And he's like, what, really? I'm like, yeah, is he eligible? And so we're all like, I don't know. So
the thing was, I knew I wasn't gonna make it. You know, like I've played competitively long enough that I know. You know, like
right.
if you don't practice a game for 6 months, you're not going to win a tournament.
You can get. I mean, free for all. You can.
Yeah, I think I could have gotten.
You can make your way to.
I could have gotten top 32 very reasonably.
Yeah.
Maybe even top 16 with the right brackets. But I wasn't going to get top 6.
Right.
There's just no way.
I heard Snipe Down was just going off. Like.
Yeah, he dropped 71 in the finals.
Going off.
Next closest was like 14 kills back.
Yeah.
That's pretty ridiculous.
Dude's a monster.
And he was in my group, so that's my excuse. I had to go against that monster. And then 3 other people that did better than me.
I heard there was it this toxic whatever guy?
Toxic Nate.
Toxic Nate that no one heard about, who was kind of doing really well.
Yeah,
Was
he
it
kind
him?
of
Okay.
came from nowhere. His buddies actually kind of bought him a ticket and sponsored by Land Center.
That's one really cool thing that you see with free for all or 1v1s or things of that nature with a game like Halo is, and this is, I think, we were talking about this over lunch with the or dinner with the Halo guys, is that some of them will literally come out of nowhere and surprise you because it's so team oriented, is what you're used to with seeing competitive Halo. Is that when you do like a free for all tournament, you'll meet these guys like Pistola who just wreck shop. And then you're like, where the hell were you? And it's like they come out of nowhere. And I think he's like one of those dudes where a lot of the pro players that were there were kind of surprised. It was like, what Halo did you play?
Another good example, I think Terry 15 was someone who, like, in a team format, wasn't very good.
Right.
Like, anytime he was by himself, like 1v1 or free-for-all, he was always a top player on live. I know there's people who say he cheated all the time and that kind of thing, but he was good. Like, legitimately good.
Right.
I think it's another kind of instance of where that happens. It was just first thing I thought of when you said that.
But that was pretty much the championship. DLC, you talked about the DLC, and we got the 343 dudes. So when I say 343 dudes, I guess it's the people that were there. We talked with Golden Boy, who did a fantastic job commentating. I actually listened to some of the replay stuff on Monday because I took the day off after the event. That was really sweet to hear him do that. Obviously, big name in Call of Duty stuff. Shoot Mania. I mean, he's pretty much what is he? He told me he is an esports caster, and he's getting pretty good at being able to handle a lot of different games and understand what's going on in them. So I was pretty impressed with that. Ghost Ayame was there. Talked with him a little bit, and we had this really good discussion about what's up. Wait to the dawn. We had this really good discussion at dinner with Quinn Del Hoyo, who used to work for Epic and now works for 343. We're talking with him. BS Angel, Jessica. Trying to meet. Who else did we talk to? Who was the guy? The light skinned guy. Fighting games. I can't remember his name. He was like, "Oh, you play Injustice?" He was like, "Yeah, my buddy works security manager there." I can't remember his name. There's so many people.
I feel bad for forgetting his name currently.
Yeah, Shay, just Joe Fries. Yeah, just a bunch of people. And one of the discussions that we kind of had, and this is with Quinn, Joe, Golden Boy, Ghost, and Colin, was something that we brought up a while ago about. First off, I asked them like what they felt like the best Halo was, just out of all of them. And it seemed pretty consistent. It was like, I'd say 1, and then it was like 3 or 2, depending on who you asked, and then 4, and then Reach, right? And so we kind of got to talking about just game design in general, and I think one of the questions that, or one of the topics that kind of steered towards was, if certain games that are out now came out first, how would people perceive the balance? What would they say about the state of the game? And how would it affect the competitive nature of the game? And, some good examples of this, and I think Call of Duty got thrown into this because we were talking about how different Halo 4 is from, well, it really started with Reach. How different Reach was from the other Halos based off of adding all the shit that Bungie just was like, let me throw this in there. And it's really cool that they have there's so many overlaps between listening to competitive players talk about games across all of them and how they view the games. Wouldn't you agree? It's really almost this. I mean, if you take the top tier player in one game, we'll take Gears. You take a top tier player from Call of Duty. You take a top tier player from Halo, and you talk to them about games. They're all saying the same stuff. Almost always, uniformly across the board.
Which was, they don't make them like they used to.
Right.
The really general thing, even though they used to, is usually only like 2 or 3 years before.
But it's funny to me because, you know, in my opinion, and not only, I'm not even talking about the very nature of games getting easier, because I have a different opinion about that than I think most people, but I think that even if a game is better than the predecessor, usually the original in a franchise title, people that played the first one will always hold that in such a high regard that from a game design perspective, even if it's better, like the 5th one down or the 3rd one for whatever reason, it's better than the first one, they'll still hold that first one up on a pedestal like it's the best game ever invented. And that almost remains true for all of those games. I mean, Golden Boy was like, yeah, Call of Duty 4 is the shit. That's the game. And he's like, even though, you know, we were talking about Modern Warfare 2 and then Modern Warfare 3, he was like, yeah, people don't like Black Ops 2, but Black Ops 2 to me is a better game almost than Call of Duty 4. In terms of just overall balance, what you can do with the weapons, the viability of stuff. And so
I do think that Black Ops 2 might be the game that's starting to buck the trend in terms of saying that the previous games are better. I think most people will list either 1 or 2.
Yeah.
Most
definitely.
Call of Duty players, with Call of Duty 4 being the other one.
Yeah. But
that's different than Halo and Gears for sure.
Yeah, definitely, and it's just one of those things that I think is really a really interesting discussion in itself, because I'm of the belief, and now we're kind of steering where I'm going to the experience thing, is that, you know, a lot of them feel like the games get easier, even if the map design might be better, the flow of the games might be better, the weapon viability might be better, but you look at what they want, and it's like, we just want the same shit that we had on the first game, and they want that rinsed and repeated throughout, even if they say differently. And that's one of the things that we were kind of talking about with Quinn, from a design standpoint. Is like, hey, you know, one of the reasons that Call of Duty is so successful, in addition to their huge marketing, you know, scheme that they have, is that they don't really change the formula too much. And, you know, it's kind of starting to get stale, but that recipe for success was there. They didn't really deviate too far from it, to make people be like, I'm not interested in this. And I think the actual thing that he used as an example was like Ogre 2 saying, people saying that he betrayed Halo, and he's like, no, Halo betrayed me. And then he, you know, Quinn kind of went into the explanation of why he thinks that was said. So it was a really good conversation that we had at dinner. I wish I would have had it recorded, so you guys could listen. I mean, some of it, just so you guys could hear it.
Heavily edited.
Total Recall is the best movie of all time.
Yeah, that was the most ridiculous statement ever.
The game is, or the game, the movie is awesome, but
Ghost
that's what Ghost said, guys. That's just a little funny thing. We were laughing about that, but I'm trying to think of some of the other conversations we kind of had with Quinn that would be kind of interesting. We're gonna try to get Quinn back on the show.
Yeah, it was funny because there was already solutions being thrown out for that when we mentioned it. Actually, we didn't even mention it.
Jessica just was like,
yeah, Quinn mentioned it, and then immediately trying to snap together something else to get someone on, get either him or Bravo on in the future. So
yeah, so we're gonna try to do that. We'll get them on the show. Just to talk, I really think in terms of, we might be able to talk about weapon tuning, but just the overall direction I think of Halo now might be good in terms of how it's kind of maybe receiving more of an esports steer top down. I feel like possibly.
I guess. I mean, I think that this tournament, and I mentioned it before when we talked about it, is that it's an indication of what they'd like to do in the future, and we'll see. It's a while out.
So
it's kind of my concern is that even when this is done, there's still going to be at least a year till Halo, probably.
It's Halo 5? Yeah, definitely. Last thing... Do you want to cover anything with them?
Go ahead. I imagine you're going right to that.
Yeah, so last thing, Assassin's Creed.
I just could talk about games at RTX. And this is really like just about it.
Yeah, this
That-
is all.
That's my
There's
one
a
criticism of
couple-
RTX. There's not much playable on the floor at all.
It's really not. So I played Assassin's Creed Black Flag. Did you get to play it?
Yeah.
Okay, so we both played it.
I'm a little bit bummed out too because the controller cards they had underneath the
On
screens
PlayStation 4.
showed the PlayStation 4. So naturally, I walked past real quick and did a quick glance at the controller and was like, "Oh wow, they're demoing on the PlayStation 4. That's cool. I'm gonna hop in lane real quick." No, the controller cards had PlayStation 4. But they were running on, actually asked, PC with a PlayStation 3 controller.
Dirty.
Dirty.
They did it so
I was pretty
dirty.
upset.
I initially thought exactly the same thing. I heard people saying, "Hey, I think there's PlayStation 4 controllers here," and so I just walked by the booth, and the controller's laying down. So unless you walk up on it and look,
You wouldn't
all
notice.
you see are
yeah.
the cards, and it looks like a PlayStation 4 controller. And for those, I mean, you guys have heard us on the show before. We both think the PlayStation controller is absolute shit.
I'm
but-
also a huge controller nerd, I guess you could say, in the sense that I love seeing new controllers.
Yeah. So that was
So I was excited. I even tweeted while I was in line. So so ignorantly that I was more excited to see the controller than the game. Then I got up there and I was just disappointed.
so
Because I actually asked before I got up there, I was like, "So what are these running on?" He's like, "Oh, it's PC with the PlayStation controller."
Did you see? I will mention this with the controller. Did you see how they were using the share screen? Whatever, I don't know what the hell they're calling that. The screen had like player list or something like that. Like it was
Yeah, they're
going to
using
light
the
up
back
with the
button,
player
kinda.
list.
I think it was just supposed to be like a back button where you bring up the scoreboard.
Okay.
That made sense to me.
I was like, wait, this doesn't have LED on it because it's supposed to be a touch screen or whatever, touchpad, right?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's just the same as hitting the back button.
All right, just making sure because that really threw me off when I looked at the card.
Or select. Yeah.
Yeah, it could be select. But in terms of the game, they just had a multiplayer, and it was, I don't even know what it's called. I'm gonna call it assassination because that's what you do.
I don't know if there was a oh shit. It was
It
like
was called-
I think they called it frantic something. Showing off the game lab, which they're calling their custom games options thing, and
Did
you
we
can make
both-
your own modes using the
Did we-
game lab.
Did we both play the same game lab game type?
I think so. It was pretty standard. You had two abilities. One stops time, the other one disguises you,
Disguises you.
and then all the kills are worth 1 point. Unless they see you, then it's worth 0 points. Or like if they hit the button at the same time, then
The
you get
stun?
0.
Yeah.
Yeah, there wasn't the stun. Like it was like contested kills. Like you killed him anyways, but you still got 0 points.
That's really weird.
And yeah, so it was all worth 1 point, which for me the best part of Assassin's Creed multiplayer was having to get the style kills in order to get big points. Like you had to get all the crazy bonuses for like walking up behind him for 3 seconds before you hit assassinate. Like that kind of stuff was what added depth to the multiplayer for me. So that's still going to be there. I did ask, and she's like, "Yeah, that's going to be in there, but we're showing off this thing, this game lab thing, so it's only worth 1 point." I feel like it was kind of a shitty way to show off the
Yeah.
game. It was alright. It was basically the same as the other game.
Right, and that's where I was going. It's like I didn't play too much of the multiplayer on the other games. I just played. I think I played Assassin's Creed 3.
I played a
and
lot.
I played another one. Yeah, I was gonna say you played the multiplayer a lot, and I'm gonna get to that in a second. But played the campaign, played a couple games of multiplayer, and they were touting this game labs thing. So I was like, oh, it's gonna be this way different, like game type. It's gonna be way different. But and that's before I kind of walked over there and looked at stuff, and then I saw the trailer or whatever that they had playing on the big screen, and I was like, that looks like the exact same shit.
Yeah.
And so, with
Like
the good,
you could literally show that video in an old trailer for for the previous one, and I
Like-
probably wouldn't be able to distinguish them.
that's Assassin's Creed with pirates. This
Like,
is
I wouldn't even know what
pirates
to do. I'd be like, "Oh, that's a map. That's a pirate map."
That's exactly what it looked like. I was like, that looks like Assassin's Creed that I just got done playing not too long ago. I remember this game. And so I was just utterly unimpressed with the game. Maybe they're not showing the breadth of it or what it can do.
Yeah, it's just
But
really weird that you're gonna show off this crazy, what you say is like game-changing customization thing,
and it was
and then you didn't really change anything. You just
I
changed the
couldn't tell the
score
difference.
and restricted our loadouts. I think that was it.
So I think from someone that loosely plays multiplayer, and they look at that and be like, well, what am I impressed with from the first version? They're gonna be like, this is the exact same. Where it's maybe someone that has sunk in a lot of time to the multiplayer, is really gonna invest in interest in it, will be like, yeah, you can really do some cool shit in it. But from a very high level, like, it looks the same.
Yeah, I mean the only thing that I can really see use for it is the competitive scene, which doesn't really exist for Assassin's Creed. There was a little bit of it when they did the Virgin Gaming tournament, which was a horrendously run tournament, just horrendous. So
Phobos got second.
I imagine you guys.
Phobos got second.
I imagine most of our viewers don't know how they ran this tournament. So this is what they did, right? It was advertised as a 1v1 tournament. So we're like, okay, Assassin's Creed doesn't really play that well 1v1, primarily because you get a target, and then they get a target, and if it's 1v1, you're each other's targets, and it's pretty obvious, in my opinion. It plays kind of slow too. So we're kind of looking at everything. Okay, we're practicing 1v1. Then they announced the rules, and here's how they ran it. You party up together. So I'd invite Phobos to my party if I was playing a match against Phobos. And then you search into the free-for-all hoppers, and you play a free-for-all match with, it's, I think 10 people was how many people were in a room, or 8? It was 8 or 10. So you hop in and you play a free-for-all match. Whoever scores the most in the free-for-all wins. So you can get like 7th and 8th, and then the guy who got 7th would win. But here's the kicker. Because this was just matchmaking, anyone could be in the room. So if we joined a room, there's only 4 people in there, I could have people join off my friends list to fill the extra slots and then just feed me kills. Yeah. Awfully run tournament.
So that's what Danny thinks the #1 guy did that beat him, was that he had friends in there.
Yeah, they had a friend in there. One specifically.
And that he was feeding him kills so that he could win that. So either way, I mean, it's not a tournament game. It's not.
And it's one of those games where like one kill could swing everything. So you get like 1,200 points on it.
Right. Yeah. So maybe the 1-point system is there for the competitive guys to be like, hey, look, we fixed it.
Maybe it's the Virgin Gaming can run a proper tournament. Maybe that's it.
Maybe. Either way, unimpressed. Felt like same old Assassin's Creed, except you got pirate stuff. Now, in terms of the game, I am moderately interested in playing the actual game, campaign-wise. Mostly because
pirates.
Exactly. Mostly because of pirates, and it looks like I'm gonna get to sink some ships. So that's what I want to do, secretly. I'm a pirate.
Speaking of sinking ships, oh, this segue. Nintendo denied Evo the rights to stream Smash. You like that? Do you like that? Wasn't that good? I think that's one of our top 5 segues recently.
That was pretty good. I'm not gonna lie, that was pretty good.
So, Evo was all set up to stream Smash Brothers Melee, I think they're using, right? Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's Melee.
Yeah.
The community actually raised nearly $100,000 for charity in order to earn that spot. They did kind of a bidding war type thing for charity back a while ago. This is what, February? March-ish?
That sounds right.
So Smash ended up winning. Smash was going. Smash was expected to be streamed, but in 2007, 2008, MLG and Evo couldn't stream Smash, and this year Nintendo's not letting them stream Smash either. So that's a pretty big blow to the Smash community, who was hoping for this to be like kind of a big, hey, we're still here, this is our giant community kind of thing, especially going into another Smash release. Which I think everyone's pretty pessimistic about anyways.
I mean, Nintendo is just ass backwards at this point. I have no faith in what Nintendo is doing. And this just comes as no surprise. First, they started with the YouTube stuff, where you can no longer claim your copyright or whatever to Nintendo, and they're like, "Don't worry, guys, we're not trying to do this to hurt you guys. We still want you to support our games." It's like, fuck you. I'm not gonna make.
We're helping you.
We're I really don't understand their play, because they're supposed to be like, they have community friendly games, right? And I get the play on the stream, right? They want to maintain an image, and when you get to the competitive environment, players have problems maintaining a certain image. I get that. That happens all across the board. Every single sport, there's issues with players maintaining image.
The disconnect is in believing that what someone does on a stream is immediately reflective of your brand.
Your brand.
That
right.
Someone watching a stream isn't going to be able to distinguish that this is some guy being an idiot on a stream for a fighting game tournament versus this is some guy who's a Smash player who's a complete dick. You know, like, they don't think that you can make that
Distinction?
That's the word. Distinction. Thank you. I was going to go with distinguishation.
That's a new one.
Yeah, so, yeah, I just think that that's where the disconnect is. Like, and it really makes no sense to me that a company can be that off base with that. As well as the fact that thinking that the people who are watching a fighting game tournament stream are the audience for your games that is going to be offended by what someone does on a fighting game stream. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The people watching a stream aren't the 9-year-old sitting with his mom and dad playing some Mario Galaxy or whatever on the Wii, you know?
If it is about the image thing, it's like not even that they are denying. It's like they're not even giving them a chance to show that they could do it. I think that's what's so upsetting to me. It's like, this is the biggest fighting game tournament in the world. Without question, it is the biggest. And you have a community that has been going strong, not in the limelight at all for a long time. And, you're just not even giving them the chance to show. Like, even if you, let's say, for example, you muted the audio. So, and at these events, all you really hear is the commentators. So let's say you mute the audio, you just let them play and show who's on screen. Like, they're saying no. Just blown away. Like, give them some rules. Try to get involved. Don't just be like, no, you can't do that. I don't know. It's I don't know. Ridiculous.
Yeah, it's silly.
Someone, he says the Arc to Go to Evo website, they just updated people and said they can stream Smash Bros.
Yeah, I'm trying to look. I don't see anything.
Yeah, I didn't.
Their website's not loading for me, though.
Okay. I'll check
yeah,
it.
I don't see anything on Twitter, which is usually where I would see that.
I'll check it, but I don't believe it is.
Oh, there it is. I guess from Slasher. Smash is back. Good job, Internet.
Alright.
So, the outrage.
The outrage from that, which happened in a matter of hours.
That was literally like 3 hours.
Yeah, has worked in our favor. So Nintendo, you're still idiots. But good job.
They backtracked on the YouTube thing too, so it's not that surprising. They seem like, yeah, they're really quick to listen to their lawyers.
Yeah. A copy of Microsoft. So that was pretty much all we had there. So
at least in this case, they flip-flopped before our show aired.
Yeah. They're like, hey guys, we're sorry. We saw those two guys on Frag Logic. They were talking shit. Let's reverse that. No, it was probably everybody else.
Hold on, we got something coming in.
Next thing we got is GTA 5 gameplay trailer.
Yeah, you didn't watch it. You're slacking.
I didn't, so Colin gets to talk about it. I couldn't help it. I was busy today at work. And
you were going to show it on the show, but I told you it was pretty dry. And I think that if people have seen it, then they'd agree. They did it like in the style of a documentary infomercial, I guess would be the way to say it. Like the narrator is kind of following that style and talking about the different features of the game, like very directly. So they show some of the mini games and activities, lots of shots of the area, showing like the wilderness, the suburban sprawl, the downtown, the homeless people under a bridge, all the stuff you'd expect.
The homeless people under the bridge.
Yeah, there was a specific shot for it.
Okay.
And then they show off the switching between characters, but it wasn't anything new. It was just kind of the same stuff we already knew about. You'll be able to switch between characters pretty much seamlessly. It does like a camera goes into a bird's eye, and then it does a couple like shutter kind of things where it and then it goes over the next person, then then you're in their head, or third person, and they'll be doing whatever. It seems like it's probably like scripted events. Like, for example, they switched to, I don't have the character names on hand, I don't remember them. The Family Guy was, like, arguing with his kid, or just finished riding his bike with his kid, and then they went to the hobo psychotic guy, and he was running from 5 police cruisers and a few helicopters and shit. So I'm pretty sure it's, like, I imagine it's pretty scripted.
Yeah.
Which is funny, because they're, like, you know, hop into the day-to-day life of your different, of the different characters. And it's like,
right, so
his
like,
day-to-day life is running from, is running from 5-star police.
Right.
So it seemed cool. The thing that interests me most, naturally being a multiplayer person, is at the very end they had a shot of the multiplayer. And there was like, I want to say there's probably like 12 to 16 people in the shot. They kind of like did a shot from like the top of a skyscraper, and he's like looking out the window, and you see different cars, and it has the gamer tag above the cars, so it's different people driving all over the place. Kind of like a firefight in the middle, and then a guy cruises past in a jet, and it has the gamer tag on there too. So it seems like they're gonna do like the open world, massive amounts of players thing again. I guess the big thing would be them allowing the entire island without being instanced for multiplayer. I remember it was kind of weird with GTA 4 as far as what they actually allowed with that many players. If I remember right, it was like 4 players, you could do the entire island, but it wasn't the entire map.
Yeah, that seems odd.
Do you remember how it was? It was pretty.
Vaguely.
It wasn't entirely open.
Like,
It wasn't entirely open world.
one of the things that kind of bothers me is like we've played so much Gears that like I have a hard time remembering some multiplayer games for for other stuff, which absolutely bothers the shit out of me that we've done that. But I can't remember. Like, I only remember bits and pieces of Grand Theft Auto. But you know,
The aiming was really poor.
Yeah, the aiming was bad.
So I
I
remember
that. But the interesting thing about that game, multiplayer wise, is that it consistently is in the top for activity for a very long amount of time.
Yep.
Like, it has a huge player base, and it's just like...
Specifically, that's game activity, not necessarily multiplayer.
Oh,
but yeah.
okay. That could be true.
It's also people who just boot it up and sign in.
Yeah.
I think it is one of those games that people come back to over and over.
Yeah.
As well. But I do think multiplayer was actually pretty popular.
So...
And even like if you go back to the Saints Row days, remember that game was always in the top charts
that
too.
game was popular too.
And it's very similar. The original, with the clan wars and shit.
Yeah. So I find that to be very intriguing because, like you said, from a shooter perspective, like if you're playing that to shoot, the game to me falls apart. Like it's really bad. Like it doesn't feel good to shoot someone in Grand Theft Auto. But they have so many other elements to the game that once you piece it all together, it's kind of like, okay, you can get away with having not so great aiming mechanics because this, and this are awesome. So, I mean, it's just one of those games where it kind of reminds me of Uncharted almost. Like, Uncharted's aiming mechanics, in addition to the terribleness of the PlayStation controller. I wonder how many times I'm going to mention how awful that shitty-ass controller is on the show. I think I'm at 3 right now. But one more time, the shittiness of that controller adds to how bad the aiming mechanics are in Uncharted. But that game has so many different elements to it that even with sloppy aiming mechanics, the game is still phenomenal. So, to me, it just kind of falls into that group.
Yeah, I just have low expectations in general for the game because it's not next gen. It's coming out after next gen's launched, you know?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. The odds of me playing it are pretty low because of that. Unless they port to next gen with some nice graphics and stuff.
All right, so pretty much all I got for Grand Theft Auto. You have expectations? Was that like?
That was my expectation for the game.
Okay,
I
that's what I
guess.
thought.
Interest.
It'll do well. Whoops.
Oh yeah, it'll do well because it's GTA. And it's Rockstar, who can't really do anything wrong. Although I think Max Payne to a lot of people might have been a misstep.
All right, we got last thing.
2 games leaving beta. This is actually update 2. This is another one where I can be like, coming in over on my right. They just handed me this paper and it says. So earlier today, Dota 2 went out of beta, and then it went back into beta, and now it is officially out of beta. But not really. They actually... Shit. Let me get the actual website. So they're going out of beta, but it's kind of like a... we're letting people in slowly out of beta, because they're concerned about their servers. Dota 2 is a massive game. I don't know if people realize just how popular it is globally.
It's getting more and more popular, which is the crazy thing.
Yeah, it's the most played on Steam already, and it hasn't even been public. So pretty interesting. So they're going to let people in slowly. If you haven't played, I recommend grabbing it and at least playing a couple games. Go through the tutorial and kind of learn what you're doing. They added tutorial stuff, I think, an update or 2 ago, to try and get new users kind of understand what's going on. Which I think when you played, you had no idea what was going on, right?
Yeah, I that was like
even,
that was before
even
I
with
even
me
played
coaching.
Smite. It was before I played Smite, so I was just very like, is this supposed to be like StarCraft? And that was like how I kind of perceived it. And it was like, no, not at all. So
yeah,
the game is intense to me.
You should go check it out with the tutorials and see how that changes your perception.
It's 2 hours of tutorials.
Even if just from a learning experience.
It's 2 hours of tutorials.
Yeah. Then you learn, and you become a better player. You become a better gamer.
I don't know about you guys,
You
but
broaden your horizons.
Listen, I like learning games, but there is no way I'm gonna spend 2 hours.
Here's
in
the
a
thing, though.
tutorial
Like,
for any
that's
game.
great, though, because if you won't sit through 2 hours of tutorial, I don't want you in my 1 hour match.
Good.
You know what I mean?
You won't have me.
It's pretty long. Whoever said it's not 2 hours. Yeah, it's pretty long. Even the Dragon Knight one, before they updated the tutorials with more stuff, the Dragon Knight one, because you're sitting there waiting for creeps, took me like 30 minutes to 45 minutes. Then they expect you also to play some practice games and you're done.
I'm not doing that.
Yeah, I recommend trying it though.
It's not Smite.
Or even just hop in some games while it's open beta, or while it's open, it's live. It's not even beta.
I have the game.
Yeah, so I recommend hopping in, playing some games with the newbies, and then that way you can hang. And I will not send you invites because you didn't play the tutorial. It was pretty cool actually today. The Alienware Cup, which I've talked about, I think 2 shows in a row, right? Pretty sure the last 2 shows I mentioned it. It's a tournament that's taken 3 weeks to complete. They had their finals today. They had 250,000 people watching concurrently on Twitch and in-game. Well, yeah, Twitch, the Chinese streams, and then in-game. The total out's about 250K plus.
The in-game, like, publicity for that game is just insane.
The spectating stuff? Yeah.
It's just insane. Like,
it's amazing.
I can't praise that enough. At least, I mean, I don't even have to play the game to understand how huge it is for them to have that in there and be like, this is what spectating should be like. Let's do this, and they just were like, "Yep, we're gonna build this out."
Mm-hmm.
Awesome.
And then MasterCard was the sponsor of that tournament, and they were already kind of teasing at another one. They tweet on their official account. Anyone up for a Alienware Cup 2?
How much was the prize pool?
I think first place was like 60K, maybe 40K. I think the pool in itself was probably like 100K. I can pull it up real quick. Navi actually flew out there to compete, even though it was an online tournament.
Yeah.
Okay, it was 25K for first, $60,000 USD prize.
Split 5 ways.
They paid out through 10th. So everyone involved got some money. And yeah, split 5 ways, 5K each. And it was basically like a practice tournament for the international. Because 9 of the teams were the teams that are invited for the East. That was literally half the international teams. And then the one team from the... I probably got it backwards. And then Navi was the odd man out, and they flew out to compete as the 10. So, pretty cool. And I'm not going to spoil anything, because I actually have to watch the best of 5 that was today. Because I was at work. And I already know the results, so I had it spoiled for me. I'm not going to spoil it for anyone else. I wouldn't do that.
Okay. Don't do that.
So, Dota 2 left beta, Alienware Cup is sweet, International is going to be fucking awesome. And now everyone can watch in-game, and there's no reason that you shouldn't. And I'm going to make sure that everyone who watches our show tunes in for the International in the in-game client to see what spectating should be.
It's intense.
In other news, Firefall also goes into open beta today, actually. I got the email this morning.
Yeah, so did I. 8:28 a.m. I got the email.
Yep.
Are you?
So you should all check it out. I haven't played in a while. I need to hop on and see the changes.
Yeah,
I watched a couple streams. Tilter, who we played with before, he streams every now and then with Firefall.
Is he still pretty damn good?
Yeah, he's really, really damn good. He's playing with the people that were tearing me up last time I played.
Okay.
So I imagine that's like he's one of the top teams. And they added mode Jetball, which is similar to Bombing Run from UT. And it sounds like they might end up pushing that as like their premier competitive mode. Which is
interesting.
pretty interesting. I mean, it has like sports parallels. For those who don't know, you like grab a ball and you have to shoot it into a goal. And you can pass it from teammate to teammate. It's much like Ricochet, which was just announced for Halo. So it's a pretty interesting mode. It definitely has sports parallels, which I think make it easy to spectate.
Which is, I think, and that's
It's
exactly
important.
where I was going. Was there? I think devs are starting to say, how can we make this more spectator friendly? And then, why don't we make it more like football, except you shoot or whatever?
But it's a really old game type, which is the funny thing.
Yeah, it is.
And it's just kind of laying dormant. I can't think of any other game that had a bombing run game type. Aside
Unreal,
of like
Unreal ahead of its time,
I mean,
dude.
Obviously Unreal. Oh, ahead of its time, yeah.
Yeah, Unreal was ahead of its time.
Griffball in a few ways. That was really just an assault variant.
Yeah. So.
And now all of a sudden we have Jetball and Ricochet for Halo. Pretty cool. I like the mode. It's fun. And I'm gonna check it out in Firefall. I recommend everyone picks it up and at least play a little bit. Don't even touch the single player if you don't want to. You can just hop into queue from level 1 for multiplayer and just hop in and play like normal. What is that? Who's that supposed to be?
It's Bernie Burns.
Oh yeah. I forgot you took that.
I did not take that.
You just took it from one of your booth goers, a Loadout fan.
This is what happened, guys. I also have a griff ball. Kind of ending up the shit.
An actual griff ball?
Yeah, you want me to go get it real quick?
That's alright. I wasn't that excited.
While we're here, you're like, oh, a griff ball?
I was just curious.
We are starting to wrap up the show, so we'll answer some questions from the chat. I'm gonna go get this ball and show you guys the griff ball. Some questions.
Someone says a ball game type could have saved gears.
No,
Only if you
bomb.
plant that ball at a bomb site. But even then, that probably wouldn't have saved gears, to be honest. We've been sick in Gears 3, though. We've been all over a bomb game type in Gears 3. Alright, any questions? Maybe I'm in chat while Kale grabs the griff ball. Anything we missed topic of discussion-wise? I haven't used either controller for the Xbox One or the PS4. Have I heard of H-Hour? Let me Google it real quick. Yeah, actually, someone, it might have been you, actually asked for us to talk about it last week, and I looked. It looks pretty interesting. It's not really my kind of game. The sense of, there's been a couple of Kickstarters for kind of hyper-realistic shooters on the vein of Arma and SOCOM and like doing Rainbow in a more realistic fashion. I've just never really been a fan of those types of games, so it's hard for me to get too excited. I think Kale's the same. Nice.
Yeah, it's a pillow. So
It's funny because Halo 4, the Griff Ball looks nothing like that because it's a skull.
I know. The interesting thing about this is that, I guess the story behind how I got this stuff. So we're packing up our last day, Sunday, and it's like 2 hours after the event's over. And Razer, who was at our booth, lost their camera bag. We ended up finding that for them. And then I randomly am looking under our table, and there's a Rooster Teeth bag with Bernie Burns, bobblehead, and a Griff Ball. And at this point, I mean, there's no use in going to Lost and Found because, I mean, it's 2 hours after the event. So, you know, most people left. So I was just like, you know what? I'm going to hold on to this and see what happens. And now I'm going to keep it. And that's it. Because did I walk over there? I can't remember if I walked over there or not. You know what? I had someone go over there that lost a phone or something like that at our booth, and they walked over there and dropped it off. And I was like, "Hey, someone has a bag here," and that's all I did. It's pretty cool. Got a Griff Ball, and I got Bernie Burns. So, some questions. H-Hour, I saw that. I haven't looked at it, so I'll check it out. Which controller did you enjoy playing with, Xbox One or PS4? I haven't played with either of them. I didn't go to E3.
It sounds like Xbox will be at Comic-Con. You're not going to Comic-Con though, right?
I'm not going to Comic-Con. I'll be at PAX.
Yeah, PAX.
I'll probably
get to use
go to
PAX.
QuakeCon.
Yeah.
It won't be there, but it will probably be at QuakeCon and PAX for sure. It'll be there. PAX Prime. So
yeah.
I've been trying to get Colin to go make some sacrifices, but he's like,
I can't. Nah. There's no way.
He's like, no way. So I'll try to get some Gamescom.
That's in Germany, right?
There's no way that I'm gonna go. Well, I don't know about the studio. Maybe Rob or Mike or Mark might go, but I don't plan on going there.
I've been to Cologne. It's nice.
Yeah, he has.
It's there for WCG.
You had some strong beer too, right?
Some nice beer, yeah.
Was it strong?
Yeah,
Was it
I'd say so.
better than American beer?
It was thick. That's the kind of stuff I drink anyways.
Was it chocolate? Was it chocolatey?
No, it was not chocolatey.
Man, I want some chocolatey beer. Do any of you guys play Smash?
No.
No, not with any. I don't. I don't like Nintendo stuff too much. I'll just leave it at that.
What do I like most about Ricochet? There's lots of back and forth. It's pretty intense. It's really hard to explain, but it lends itself well to people playing positions, which I think is cool.
Do you think that the camera work, if you were to spectate it, would be better following the ball carrier, or having almost like a top down or side, like an NFL type view of the ball? Maybe
Halo doesn't have a spectate mode, so it's kind of moot.
I know.
It's kind of a moot point. I think watching the ball carrier would probably be ideal, yeah.
Okay.
But I mean, it's also a mode where you can slay a ton, and then if you have a competent team, they can run the ball on themselves or throw the ball on themselves. It's kind of one where if you get in their base and then keep them from going on the defense, then it's pretty annoying.
Won't be authentic without refs.
But really, like, Ricochet is the most excited I've ever heard my office's playtests. Like, people shouting and cheering, and even with the door closed, you can hear, and you can tell when someone's playing Ricochet because people get really into it, which I hadn't really seen with a lot of modes. I mean, you play the same game over and over, you know what I mean?
Right.
But for whatever reason, that mode just brings out the most intense matches where it's down to the wire and you need to run it into score, then you get it like an inch away, and then the person grabs it and clears it all the way across the map. You're like, fuck! Or it's a hero play for the other team, you know what I mean? Like, it's pretty cool in that aspect.
Yeah. Father Russia. I would agree, based off of, talking with Quinn their whole esports initiative. I think they really want to push the next Halo, and Halo in general, into a more competitive, friendly environment.
I'm looking forward to whatever they do with matchmaking with Josh Menke over there.
Yeah. I think we mentioned him on the show.
Matchmaking designer at Blizzard.
People don't know. He did matchmaking for Blizzard. StarCraft, that's correct? Specifically?
Yeah, StarCraft. Yeah, he made the StarCraft League system, essentially.
Okay.
Or designed it, I guess, probably more accurate.
Wraith says body slide. In this show with, what games are you playing, Colin?
DoTA.
Okay.
And DoTA. I played some Halo to practice for the tournament on Thursday. I'm probably gonna play some Firefall this week. Check out the changes.
I think I'm gonna do that as well. Now, I saw a game called Rogue Legacy that some people were playing, so I'm gonna try that out. That's my try.
I can't because oh man, I hate platformers so bad.
Yeah,
I want to like it because I love roguelikes, but I hate platforming.
Right.
And like the very first level, it has me jump on a pad and then hit down in order to hit the sword down onto a pad, in order to like make a pad expand. And it was like, this would be a major gameplay mechanic, is what I got immediately, and I was like, ugh, this sucks.
Yeah.
And then there's lots of dodging bullets and shit, which I don't enjoy either.
Do you guys play any?
I did go to the first level. I went to the first level, right? And then I got to the point where I had to dodge a bunch of shots, and I was like, I see where this is going.
Yeah, I think Sean was the one telling me about it first.
Yeah, he loves those games where you have to dodge shit. Like, it's not fun.
And then one of our lead designers on our other project, who was initially, Dom.
Yeah.
He was playing it, and he was like, "That game is really good." And he doesn't say that about any game. Every game, he's British, by the way. Every game you ask him about, he's like, "It's bloody shit." That's what he says all the time. Where it's terrible. We're like, okay. He said, "What? Dom got off COD? Yeah. To play Rogue Legacy." He plays a bunch of weird games like that. But yeah, that's about it. Who said Nemesis? Yes, we do play fighting games. I do. And Colin plays Divekick.
Better than you.
Barely.
3-1. That's a convincing serious win.
Barely. Yeah, but hope you guys enjoyed the show. A lot of stuff. Wrapping it up. I have a movie to go. I'm actually going to go see Despicable Me 2.
You're not seeing Pacific Rim?
No, I don't want to see that damn movie.
Is that even out today?
I don't know. Fuck that movie.
It's Tuesday. It's later this week, I think.
I'm not hype about that movie.
Mario's not anywhere near the same as these bullet hell shooters that fighting side scroller crap. Like Binding of Isaac. Yeah. I'm probably gonna see Pacific Rim this weekend actually. It'll be pretty cool.
But alright guys, hope you guys enjoyed the show. We will see you guys next week, same time. I'll
see you next week.
Some Marvel Heroes this week. You guys want to check that out, but later.
Thanks for watching, guys.